Hey guys, it's Carolyn at Carolina Crafting. If you'll just let me know when you sign in. If you'll just say hi when you come on. Hope everyone's had a good day. Hi, Ann. I see Ann's joined us. Hi, Carol. Thank you for joining. While we're waiting on others to join, this is what we're making tonight. This is our little treat holder. But yesterday I had posted these colors and asked for you to guess what these colors are, if you remember them. They're all retired now from Stampin' Up. But they were some of my favorites, and I was making a project for Vacation Bible School for the kids to make some cards, and just going through some of my retired colors and cardstock to make their kits. So I come up with these, or use some of these colors in their kits. And some people got them right. I'll go back after the live and answer the post I made yesterday with the correct ones. But does anybody know what this one is? Give me your guess on this one. Any guesses? I'll go in order so you can be thinking about your other ones. I'll do this one next, this one third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Ann says something about water. Yeah, kinda. This one was called Tahitian Tide. I always wanted to call it Tahitian Tree, but that's not right. That drink was red. This one is Tahitian Tide. What about... Hi, Shirley. Thank you for joining us. What about this one? Does anybody remember what this one is? Any guesses for this one? All right, this one was Mango Melody. Next, the pink one. Does anybody have guesses for the pink one? I'm thinking all of these were passed in colors. I know they all were, except I'm not sure about Mango Melody. No, it wasn't Daffodil Delight. That one was Mango Melody. Any guesses on the pink? Raspberry something, Ann says. No, it wasn't raspberry. There was one called Rich Razzleberry, and I did love that color. This one is called Magenta Madness. All right, now this one. Someone had guessed lemon lime twist, and it's close to that color, but not quite. Let me see if I can find a scrap of lemon lime twist. Well, here's a piece of lemon lime twist. So you see how similar they are. Very close in color. Looking at this on screen, they look the same color, but here in my hands, they're slightly different. The sample I'm wanting you to guess is a little bit brighter color than the lemon lime twist. And I'll give you a hint. It has a bird's name in it. All right, no guesses. This one was Parakeet Party. And then this one, does anybody have a guess for it? This one was Orchid Oasis. And then the last one, I'll give you a hint. It has something to do with ice cream, the name. Any guesses for the last one? This one was called Sweet Sorbet. And I can't remember the year, but this was one of my favorite years that for in colors. It had these, and it had one more called, I think, Starry Sky. Those were some of my favorite in colors that came out. But, okay. Enough guessing game. Let's get down to our project. This is what we're making today. It's a treat holder, and I'll just kind of turn it so you can see all the sides here. But you can also hang it like an ornament on the tree. Isn't that cute? This I got from the Paper Pixie. She has a lot of treat holders, 3D items on her YouTube channel. So if you're looking for just kind of an idea of something to make for Christmas, for packaging or just something unique, check out her YouTube channel. It's the Paper Pixie. Julie DiMatteo is her name. So the way this opens, you just pull it open here at the top, and inside you can see I've got Hershey Kisses in mine, but it's big enough it'll hold like one of the Linder chocolate truffles and some other bigger pieces of candy. And then to close it, you would think you pull it by the bow, but you don't. You pull it back here by the other side so that your bow will be there in front with your little greeting. And I used a retired stamp set for this. It was called Itty Bitty Christmas because I needed something small enough to put on the front. My stamp sets that I've got from the online exclusives of what we have for Christmas so far, everything was too big except I could have used Cheers from Stitch Stockings, but I don't know, I decided I liked Oh What Yum on there. So anyways, let's get started. We'll make one tonight to go with this one. And excuse me, I'm getting over a cold, so I've got some water here if I start coughing. Alright, so let's get our base out. The first thing you're going to need is a piece of cardstock that is 8.5 by 5 1/4. So you can get 2 of these little ornament treat holders out of one sheet of cardstock. So that was 8.5 by 5 1/4. And now you're going to need to do a bunch of scoring. And I like the score board when I'm going to score things. If you don't have it, your paper trimmer's fine because you do have a scoring blade on it. But if I'm doing a lot of scoring, I like to bring in my board here. Okay, so on the 5 1/4 inch side, you're going to have 2 score lines. One will be at 1 3/4, and then another one at 3 1/2. Then you'll flip it to the 8 1/2 side, and you're going to score at 3/4 of an inch, then at 2 1/2 inches, then at 4 1/4, at 6, and then at 7 3/4. Oh, that one. Okay, and that's all the scoring we're going to do. Well, not quite. That's all we need with our scoring board. You're going to need a couple of diagonal score lines. You can do this on your paper trimmer. Actually, no, that'd be hard to line up on it. What you're going to do is these top middle squares and the bottom middle squares, you need some diagonal score lines coming right to the center. So I'm just using a little ruler, and I'm putting my stylus right here on that point where all of those score lines come together, and lining it up, and just making a line across there. Then I'm going to do it to the opposite side. Put my stylus there where all those points meet. Line it up. Make my next score line. And then you're going to do the same thing down here at the bottom. Line my stylus up. Then I just butt my ruler up to it, line it up with that bottom score line, and there you go. I think you can see those lines pretty well on camera. If you have any questions, just stop me and let me know. Anne wanted to know when more Christmas stuff is coming out. And let me stop and answer that for a minute. As a demonstrator, we got to get a sneak peek yesterday of the new catalog that's coming out. And it will be out in September. But demonstrators, like I said, got to see it yesterday, and we get to pre-order stuff next week, so I'm excited for that. But then it'll be September before customers can see it and order. Okay, so back to our project. Next, we just want to burnish all of our score lines. So all of them will be burnished the same way, except these 2 small strips here on the edge. If you'll just fold those back. Then everything else we're going to fold the other way. And we'll give them all a nice burnish with our bone folder. Now I'm going to wait on those diagonal lines and trim. We're going to trim some of this off. We don't need all of this to make our ornament, and it's easier to fold those once you get some of the bulk off. So what you're going to do now is you're going to take your scissors and you're going to trim on these 2 ends, the 5 1/2 inch or 5 1/4 inch side, and trim up to that second score line on both sides. Just right up to that. Okay, and then I'm going to flip it and do it the same on the other side. Cut right on that score line till you intersect with your second score line. And now we need to trim some of the bulk off of this, so I'm going to bring back my paper trimmer. And what you want to do is take one side, fold that middle piece in, put it on your paper trimmer, and where it's folded in here, this is how the paper pixie showed it, and it's a good way to line up your paper. Come here to this second line, and where you've got your paper folded back, just line it up on that second line there. And then you're going to trim off this excess. You don't need it. Okay? And then that's what you have left on this side. And that's what you're going to do to the other side. Fold that middle part in. Line this up with this second line on your paper trimmer. And trim off these edges. Okay? Now you've got these little tabs you've got left here. So again, fold that middle piece in, and you're going to miter cut or just take the corners off here. And that just helps your box fit together better when you're putting it together. And then I'm going to go on the opposite side, do the same thing. Okay. And then now that's what we've got left here. Now, as I mentioned, it's easier to work with these diagonal folds now that you got some of this bulk off. So, they're just going to fold in. So, I'm going to fold that in and give it a good burnish. Go over here and fold this one in. Well, there we go. I'm not sure I'm going about it the right way here. There we go. And then the same over here. Okay. And then you'll kind of see how the box is starting to come together, but we need to trim a little bulk off from the diagonal triangles here too. So you're gonna, once you burnish all of those, you're gonna fold it back out, fold it over, and then you want to leave just a little tab on your diagonal line, not as much as you did on your little tabs here. So you're just going to go beside your score line and cut some of that excess off. And you'll do it on both sides. Just come beside the score line, cut a little excess off. And then you can kind of see how it's starting to come together a little bit. Not quite, but a little bit. And now I like getting my box ready before I do anything else, just doing all the things I need to do with it. So one more thing we need to do is the little punch it holes to thread our ribbon through. Oh, I just noticed Carol said that's an advantage of being a demonstrator. Yes, getting to see the new things before they come out and order them is an advantage. So how you become a demonstrator, if you go to my website, my Stampin' Up! Website, and I'll put the link in the comments above once I finish the live tonight. There's a place that says join, and you just click on that and it'll take you to how to sign up and join my team. Alright, so you're going to fold your box back together, and then we just need to make a couple of punches in the top for the ribbon. Now, I'm a little anal, so I like to line mine up and get them evenly spaced. You can just go in and punch 2 holes if you'd like. There's nothing wrong with that, but I like getting mine lined up. So if you do that, if you do like I do, you'll put a little, you'll line a ruler up at the top, and you'll want to make a little mark at 5/8 of an inch, and then one at 1 1/8, and that should have them centered pretty evenly. And I'm trying to find the name of the punch. There's a set of punches. Let me get on my computer for just a second. I'm using this. It's a 1/8 hole punch. Let's see. Sorry, it's taking me a minute. Yeah. Oh, it's just called Hole Punch Assortment. That's original, huh? Hole Punch Assortment. It comes with 3 different little punches you can make. And this is the 1/8, and so I'll just line that up where I see my dots and punch my holes. Okay, then we got the holes for our ribbon. Alright, we got everything for our box ready to go, but we need to decorate it. So, next we need some Designer Series paper, and I'm using some from the Stitch Season. I'm using this Pretty Holly paper, and let me get my paper trimmer out. First, you're going to need to cut a strip that's 1 5/8. And you need to make 4 squares that are 1 5/8 by 1 5/8. That's 1. Two. 3. Oh, and is my last one going to be perfect? Okay. Alright, so you need 4 squares of that. Then you need 2 squares that are 1 1/2 by 1 1/2 inches. So 1 1/2 by 1 1/2. Alright, and then these you're going to cut diagonally. Now, if you're good and can do it with your scissors, that's fine. I'm always afraid I'll get mine a little off center, so I'm just going to, while I've got my paper trimmer out, go ahead and trim them. Okay, and now we're ready to decorate. And you can see these squares just fit right here down the middle, and then the triangles fit in all those triangle spaces. So let me get some glue, and we'll get to putting these together. Got a little excess right there. I love this glue. I just wish it had a like a finer tip or something for it to come out, so it doesn't come out quite so much at a time. This is really a cute project, and once you know how to make one, you've got it. You can put these together in no time at all. Oops. I think I'm just making a mess with glue tonight. Okay, 2 more to glue down. I don't know where I'm getting all that glue coming out. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, one of my lights just went out. It's been flickering. I thought I had it fixed. Alright, let me see if I can get my light back on for just a second here. If not, we'll keep going. Alright, I guess it's done for the night. Okay, and before we put the ribbon in and stuff, let's go ahead and make our little tag to put on the front. And I'm going to use this retired set again. I just think it's a lot of these fit on there, and do Joy to the World on this one. Now, next week when I put my pre-order in for all the new stuff coming out, I'm sure I'll have something that'll work with our new stuff, but I just found that set and thought that would work perfectly for tonight. So for the label, I'm using one of the Spotlight on Nature dies, and let me find a little scrap of white to stamp on. Here we go. And I'll stamp in red on this one. We'll use real red. Joy to the World. And I'll just put that right in the middle. And use some of this mint tape to keep it in place. And this we can just use our mini stamp and cut machine. Stamp and emboss machine to run this through. There we go. And pop it out. Okay, so I'm going to use the ribbon that came with the Stitch Season collection section for my ribbon. And we're also going to need some tearing tape. And oh, here's mine. I knew I had it out here somewhere. So on these 4 tabs, you're going to use tearing tape. Anytime you're making something that's going to be 3-dimensional, you need a really strong adhesive. So I like tearing tape for most of my 3D items. Hi Catherine, thank you for joining from France. Wow. Wow. All right, and I'm just gonna give those a nice burnish to make sure it's stuck well. Then we'll use our take your pick tool just to get the backings off. And we'll start forming our box. So what you'll do is flip it over, and these will fold in these little tabs to create a box here. Let me turn it this way so you can see. Fold that one down and tuck it in, and just line it up. And we'll turn it over and burnish those there so they stick good. Then we'll do the other side. Just tuck these in so it looks like you're making a box here on the end. Okay, and then you'll see these little diagonal pieces will fold into the center. I think I burnished that one the wrong way. Well, it's not wanting to go. Okay. So next we just need to thread our ribbon through. So you'll take it through one hole, straight across to the other side. Whoops. And then come back through the other side. Let me see if I can do this a little better. And you want to make sure you get enough ribbon when you put it through before you tie it. Just so you'll see you have enough to hang it by. So I will pull it to from this side to make sure I've got enough on that side to hang it by. And you also want to make sure you got enough that it'll open all the way up. So we'll pull that back like that. And then I'm going to cut it so I can tie it. And remember, I'm not great with bows, so I'm going to use, where's my reverse tweezers? Once I make a little knot there so it doesn't keep going, I'm going to use my reverse tweezers just to kind of hold it there and make my bow. And then you can kind of do some shaping with it. All right, and I'm going to trim my ends here. Mine looks like it's upside down, doesn't it? That's okay. It's alright. Okay. And now we just need to put our Joy to the World on. And I want to use dimensionals for that. Let's see, here's some dimensionals. And we'll put that on the front there. And there you go. We've got another box you can open and fill with candy, or put a little chocolate truffle in there. And you can also hang it on the tree. What do you guys think about this project? Think you might make some of these? If you haven't voted for what you want to see on my Christmas in July Facebook Lives, I pinned it to the top of my page. So if you want to go vote, you can. Most people want to see cards, but what came in second was treat holders. So I made cards the last 2 weeks, so I thought this week we'd do a treat holder. Well, I really appreciate you joining me tonight to watch this tutorial, and I hope you've got some ideas or something out of it that you'd like to do. And also, I did want to mention, I wanted to thank you guys for helping me get to 3,000 followers. When I got up this morning, my Facebook page said I had 3,000. And so I really appreciate you watching my lives, you liking my posts, commenting on my posts, ordering from my website. Everything you do is so appreciative. So be watching. I think maybe tomorrow I may post a giveaway for that to celebrate, where you'll just need to comment to enter for that. So stay tuned for that. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're having a great evening. And we'll see you next Thursday. Bye-bye.